Let's go. I'm better than ever, they never been better than I. Regarded the hardest and I ain't even reaching my prime. They hate that I'm great and they faking I'm real as they come. So sit back and let me show you how this shit is done. My composition, my propositions, I'm raping the system. I'm killing the competition and all of y'all are my victims. Eyes and oohs as I'm ripping the instrumental, lyrical, individual, never been sentimental. I'm so hot every time that beat drop, and when I say I'm raping the system.
Alrighty, what is good, boxing fans and gamers? It's your boy FightNightsFinest, the Sophie commentator, here with the first episode of my OWC Road to the Top 100. Now, I know you guys are just like, man, why are you playing OWC now, man? You're well experienced. You already played OWC in the past. We know about your resume. We know how good of an OWC lightweight fighter you are. You know what's bringing you back towards this. But let's take a quick look at our opponent. James Black, 278 wins, 221 losses, and 162 wins coming by way of knockout. So it's like, this guy, we're both 78 overall, so you can see this is my first match. I haven't put any points into anything. We're going to take a look at the skill charts way later into the fight. During this series, it's going to teach you how not only to go about playing your OWC matches, but it's going to go about telling you how to customize your characters. We're going to dive in depth into this video. You know, that was a confusing sentence, but yeah, you guys know what I'm trying to say. You're gonna learn a couple of things about fighting, a couple of fight strategies that you can use, timing of the rounds. I might go ahead and start putting the hue back on, just to let you guys know I'll be recording every single OWC fight that I do. This is OWC middleweight, by the way, at 160 pounds. I'm James Toney, 5'11", 76-inch reach, which is classically what I go to. This is what I'm comfortable with. The one thing that I do want to do is put on the Philly Shield. For the first 5 fights, though, I thought I should go around with textbook, because I'm not exactly sure what's the big difference between OWC back then and OWC now, which is the main reason why I started the series, to see, you know, the upcoming talent, to see who's bum hunting, to see the different kinds of things that's going on. If it's the same, you know, cesspit that I experienced about a year ago, because I haven't really played OWC heavily, and basically, yeah, I've tried it once or twice on the live stream, but other than that, I didn't really fight any OWC fights in quite a bit of time. So that's the main reason I'm going back to OWC, is to basically find out what the upcoming talent on this game is like. Now, most people is like always about how this game is dead and we're fighting to keep the game alive. The game is more than enough online. It's not really that hard to find online matches, depending on your overall, and head-to-head is not that hard to find matches either. And there's constantly new people buying the game, new people telling me they just got the game. So there's people playing it, and it's more than enough reason to try to see if I can get back into the top 100. Now, the main reason why I'm just putting it as road to the top 100, even though the ultimate goal is to get into the top 100, just even if it's at 100 and then I stop playing, is to see, you know, there's so many belt glitches. I watched the leaderboards today and I saw a fighter who used to be ranked number 5, ranked like 61 or 41. So that tells you how much glitching was done in order for most people to get towards the top. Interesting thing is that the people had a lot of points back then, and the way OWC was fought, you know, before I was coming around the era where the side step right uppercut was really being discovered, and when a lot of people started exploiting it, and you know, the game was really starting to get away from its core aspects of boxing and throwing your jab and throwing combinations, towards the point where it got to people just sidestepping and backstep straight in, and you know, the cheap reaches, the push straight was in at that time. So that's basically when I came along. I was around that tuna set. That was around November time, and the game came out in March that year. So it was an interesting time. I didn't really get into the top 100 until kind of spring, summertime of the next year. So that was around April, kind of June time. That's when I really started getting towards being a top level player on the game, and a lot of people considering me to be a top 10 lightweight on the game. But anyway, we talked a lot about my history on the lightweight series, just so you guys know a little bit about me and, you know, the differences and stuff that's going on. So the main thing about this guy, if you notice so far, is he only throws 1-2s. That's basically what it is that he does. He only throws 1-2s, and it's got to be one of those things that you got to ask yourself. This is obviously an experienced fighter with over 500 fights. a guy who's been around either for a while in terms of maybe the last month or the last few months, or even possibly since the game has started, because you don't know everybody who plays the game. You don't know exactly why it is that they had such a low overall. But at 78, it's you kind of get that mix of fighters who aren't experienced and fighters who are starting over and trying to get points for their gym. So it could be different levels of how this thing works. This guy, like I said though, he only throws 1s and 2s, and that's some of the more modern day technique that you see in the game. Is a lot of guys only want to stick with jabs and straights, the 1-2 spam, the straight spam. That's exactly what most fighters look for. Is this guy spamming? I mean, technically, I don't consider what he's doing spamming. I feel like he can put together some more combinations. He can use the other 4 punches that's in the game that I'm saying that you can use with the buttons, like the uppercuts, hooks. You can use some overhands and some rips as well, which would be the 4 other punches that I was talking about. So he definitely has an extremely basic arsenal, and it's a good reason as to why he doesn't have a lot of wins. And when you have 500 plus fights, you would expect at that time that you will have progressed in some sort of way. Now, I don't know how good the guy was from how he started the game, but it lets you know his mindset is to only throw 1s and 2s, because that's what he's seen from experience, and that's what he see is working, is people who throw the 1-2 spams, or either that or the straight spam. So it gives you a good indication of how most people are gonna fight. Now, the 78 overall is a good class to where you can kind of figure things out. It's a good introduction to OWC, because I feel like you're gonna see a bit of everything. You're gonna get a few spammers. You're gonna get a few guys that's gonna come in there and just abuse a straight right hand. You're gonna get the guy who's gonna walk in there with the Philly shell block, and he's gonna have the unorthodox fighter, so that he can get a higher overall in terms of his reflex and speed rating. And you might see a bit of runners, you might see some inside fighters, you might see beginners, and you might see guys who like to fight on the inside and press the action. So there's going to be a variety of different things that you're going to see throughout this series, and let's actually talk about upgrading our character now. Our fighter is an inside fighter. That's pretty much what I've gone through and what I know how to use for my entire time playing Fight Night Champion. It gives you the best chance in order to win rounds, because you start off with 93 strength. And I believe nobody on the game hits harder than an inside fighter. And also, if you fight an inside fighter style against a lot of the people in the 78 overall division, most of them don't have stamina management. And if you can manage your stamina as an inside fighter, and just pick your shots very well, box very well, you should be able to progress through the 78 up to the 79, maybe all the way up to 81 without really taking a loss. Now, one of the key tips that I can give anybody who plays OWC is the fact that if you're a 78 overall, fight 78 overalls. Don't fight a 79 because their straight right hand is near maxed out while you don't have any points in your chin at the moment. So you can get matched up with fighters that are clearly above you, and the thing is that you don't want to fight them. You want to fight same overall until you get about 81. Then you could probably branch off into like a 82 or possibly even an 83. I mean, there came a time where actually I would challenge myself by using an 82 overall fighter and fighting 90 overalls just so that I can get challenging. There's a lot of people who really just stay at around 81, 82, and I've noticed that back then in the day where people were staying there because they can get easier points for their gyms. The lower overall you have, the more points you seem to be able to get for your gym, or that's where a lot of the guys were fighting in OWC for, was to get the gym overall points, and the gym can progress through the ranking ladders there. I think that's the one area of the game you can't really belt glitch, is through experience points for your gym. That, don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure about that. So we're in round number 4. We took a look at the scorecards. I'm up 3 rounds to zip, and the most basic thing that I'm doing right now is really trying to let my defense set up my offense. You see that jab coming out, you see me trying to pick my shots extremely carefully. We landed some good straight right hands there and a couple of jabs also early on in the round. Like I said, when it comes to boxing technique, I think the main way for this kind of strategy of upgrading your fighter to be successful is the fact that you got to know the mechanics of the game. You got to understand boxing if you really want to progress through the earlier rankings or through the earlier overalls well is by boxing. This way you can, the way we're gonna do it basically, let me just dive into that. The way you're gonna do this is by upgrading your chin first. You wanna get your combination speed up to about 6, 7, or 8, and that'll allow you to punch fairly fast or fast enough. There's a lot of fighters who reach 90 overall and they only put 6 points into their combination speed. And combination speed is basically how fast your punch is going to. Once it hits 6, it hits your combination speed basically comes out pretty darn fast. Most fighters don't put together 6 punch combinations on this game anyway. I mean, even for me, a 6 punch combination can be rather difficult to put together. And there's a lot of instances where you don't get to put together a 6 punch combination because you will be easily countered. Speaking of counter punching, we was able to counter punch very nicely when we was trapped on the right hand corner of the ring moments ago. So I felt really good about that, being able to land some significant counters. And you know, back to my earlier point about how to fight and how to upgrade your character. You want to upgrade your chin and max that out. This way you'll be able to deal with the straight right hand. And the judges' scorecards it's gonna go based off of how hard you hit. So if you have a 93 string and you're up there landing plenty of jabs, hooks, and overhand rights, for example, to the head, you're going to score your points regardless of how hard they hit with that straight right hand. If you have the chin to compensate, you won't get the stuns and you won't receive as many knockdowns as well. Now, you got to watch out for the people who decide that they want to upgrade that straight right hand downstairs to the body, which could also be a good technique, is to go for body shots, because most people don't start building their heart. But you definitely want to get your chin up to 20. You want to max that out. After you reach your chin to about the 2nd star, that's when you want to start upgrading your combination speed. Or you can even, you know, vary between matches. So for example, let's say we win this fight. I'm not going to give away the end of whether we win or we lose, but let's say we win this fight. I put a point into my chin. The next match I put a point into my combination. The next match after that, I put a point into my chin. The next match after that, you get what I'm saying. Until I reach 6 for my combinations. Let's talk about what happened to this guy where he just got his chin checked by the right uppercut. It was just poor defense. He got hit with a bunch of combinations and he ended up going down for, I believe, the first time in this match. So we ended up catching our first knockdown after pouring on the combinations. But that's basically what you want to do to upgrade your fighter. And then after you reach to about the 2nd star, you might want to put a point into your blocking, just so that you can have the block up to 1 star, or you know, up that level 4 blocking or level 5 blocking, whatever it is that gives you the plus 5 block strength. You really want to use your feet and be able to move in and out of your opponent's range in order to try to land your punches. You see me done that quite a bit this match before I go ahead and rely on my blocking. Whenever I wanted to come onto the inside is where you really saw me rely on my blocking, so I can come forward and put together combinations. Also, as an inside fighter, when you're going through OWC, the main thing you want to do is try to land hooks, because those are your most powerful punches. It's hooks and uppercuts. Jab straight your way into your opponent. You know, you want to either double up that jab, walk your opponent down like you see me do here, get the jab off in order to get close. Then, you know, if I'm in range, throw those uppercuts and hooks to really score effectively. Also, your best punches are downstairs to the body. So you might want to look for a couple of body shots in order to help your opponent drop his stamina. So as you can see here, we're hitting him quite efficiently this round. We're landing a bunch of different shots from different angles. Been able to land that step uppercut quite a bit. We've been able to land just 3-4 punch combinations basically at will. We was able to track him down. We was able to get him up on the ropes. You saw his lack of experience of being able to rotate out. So let's take a look at that stamina though. That's 0% stamina recovery at 77%. Before that, I think we was either in the 90 percentile or either in the 85 percentile. So what was going on was the fact that even though we landed a lot, and at this, you know, the fact that we don't have the greatest endurance and the greatest conditioning at this point without the gold boosters or the silver boosters, and we weren't able to really sustain well stamina wise, which is why you saw me pick my shot so carefully earlier. And plus that being a knockdown round, I truly don't understand what it is about knockdown rounds that allow you to recover less stamina, considering he was the guy on the floor that part of the game never made sense to me. So we get a little bit tired of tracking him down this round, and we're going to use this as a recovery round, so which is why we taunted him, to try to get him to come towards the inside. Now, that's kind of that taunt that people used to do in order to try to get fighters to come towards them. I do it every once in a while when I want to box on the outside. So right here, you really see us establishing this jab right here, and that's the main way you're going to be able to recover your stamina, is through that jab. A good solid work rate. Not saying that you can't throw your hooks and your uppercuts, but the main thing you want to look for is, you know, jabs and some good body shots. And then possibly, if you want to time the rounds, look for your headshots towards the end of the round, towards that last minute, maybe after the minute 30 mark. That's exactly when you want to go and start throwing your hooks and your uppercuts. And so we're basically learning a lot today about just different fight strategies you can use, different things that can go on. Just to give myself some quick plugs, if you guys want to see me commentate over stuff live, that's when you come to the channel on Fridays, and you also come on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On Tuesdays and Thursdays for my live streams, that's when you're going to get to see me in head-to-head matches, possibly talk about some good topics. You get to see how I perform in certain matches when I'm by myself, when I'm commentating by myself. You can get that real thought process going. So with these OWC fights, you're probably going to see more commentaries, dual commentaries with either myself and Arachnid Soul, or myself and David Ritwan or Sakuraba 192. We get different commentators to come on. This is more of an entertainment purposes. And then when it's just commentaries like this, you'll be able to hear me give the breakdown of the fight and explain different things. So as you can see, we just controlled this round. We got 13% stamina recovery, and we won the round basically using nothing but that jab. Look at the guy's condition. If you saw that little zombie walk that he did right there, that shows me that he was tired. So it showed me I should pour in the heat a little bit more. So we track him down with the jab on the inside, start working that body a bit more. And he's having a hard time just getting away from that stiff left jab of ours. He's having a hard time moving around the ring. He's having a hard time outboxing us, because what is it that he has left to rely on? His stamina's gone. The 1-2s aren't really landing for him that well. He's getting hit to the body, so his stamina and his power is gone. While we're still pretty strong. And this is just by using basic boxing techniques, using the jab to get towards the inside, putting together combinations, working the body, hitting in between his combinations. One thing that really drained his stamina was that, if you remember early on in the fight, he was throwing that rapid fire jab combination downstairs to the body, throw about 5 or 6 jabs in a row. And that's just gonna drain your stamina bar. So that's the difference in technique. If you look at what it is that I'm doing, I will hit a 2-punch combination, or a 3-punch combination, or just a single punch combination. I will cover back up. This way I can possibly block the incoming punch, or if I know he's about to throw, I'll try to step with him. If I see him step backwards, I will close the gap on towards the inside. And when, once I get right back in front of him, that's when you see me let my hands go. So that's good for your stamina recovery. This is a solid work rate while throwing tons of punches and getting a lot of good scoring shots, is by changing the angles with the high and low combinations. We got him trapped in the corner here, so we work the body a little bit, try to get some good, decent headshots in. He's able to get back to the center of the ring at this point. So what do? We play a little bit of defense, we block, we look for him to throw first, get a quick lead at him, and then we come back with some combinations. So you see the difference in style of how I'm fighting, besides coming forward like a major tank and just letting my hands go most of the time. You see it's calculated aggression, it's calculated pressure. It's more of a smart way in order to fight. You can fight while being smart and aggressive at the same time. So we're going to take a look at the scorecards here as we go into round number 8. First 7 rounds are completely dominated. This guy has not won a single round. Mr. Skittle Man over here with the green, yellow, bluish, purplish, reddish trunks. This dude looks like Ronald McDonald on a bad day, or it looks like somebody threw some art on him. It's like some watercolors, or a 3rd grade up there coloring. I don't know what it was up with this guy's shorts. But you see at this point, this fight is pretty much in our hands. There's not much he's been able to do to adjust. He doesn't have the knowledge, nor does he have the mechanics to get away from what it is that we're doing. He's had 500 plus fights on this game in OWC, but I guarantee I've had over thousands of fights, probably over 10,000 fights on this game. That's excluding practice time that I spent in Fight Now, trying to practice my mechanics of the game, trying to practice and you know, looking at the different angles and knowing what punch is going to come based on what animation. I took a lot of time I invested a lot of time into this game in order to get to the skill level that I'm at now. Am I the best fighter on this game? I don't think so, not in the slightest. But I do know one thing. Somebody please teach this man some defense. He gets his chin checked by yet another right uppercut. He hasn't been able to handle the combinations. His defense has been lacking all fight long, and we end up dropping him onto the canvas for the second time. So you have to think at this point, what is it that I want to do? What is it that I want to change? What is it that I need to do different in order to win this fight? He doesn't have the stamina to compete with us. You know what he should be doing right now, if you're ever in this guy's case, it's kind of too late in the fight to already make the change. But one thing you definitely don't want to do is, especially after a knockdown, is trade. He ends up actually stunning us with a backstep straight. He gets that light minor stun, nothing too significant, and the lower overalls, you do regain health back whenever it is that you get stunned, because it's not a critical stun. Critical stun comes around after you upgrade your punch to, I believe, level 11. So whether it's your straight or your right uppercut, whatever the case may be, that's when you start hitting that critical stun. So I knew at that point, you know, yeah, he came through with the rapid fire jabs. But when a fighter does that, there's a good chance they're going to try to come in with another punch to just try to finish you off. Actually, I know the fighter who the fighter who invented that technique actually trained me on this game. That's a little FYI for you guys. But I knew it wasn't hurt that bad, and even if I got dropped, I wasn't concerned. I know I can get up at least all 4 times, so I wasn't really concerned about being dropped. I had plenty of points also, so it's the first knockdown, so either way it wouldn't have bothered me. I always go into one fight seeming to expect to be knocked down one time at least, so it wasn't a big deal. So we get back this round after being hurt. We get back to the basics. We get back to our defense. We get back to that jab, that stiff left jab, and looking for our angles. He's doing the right thing now. This is exactly what it is that you want to do when you have no stamina. Is you kind of want to use the outside. Not so much the straight right hand, but you want to use the jab. You don't want to get caught up in the corner, and you definitely don't want to throw power shots. Why? Because if you start throwing power shots, if you get hit to the body, you have a higher, it's going to take a lot longer for your stamina to push back up. So you see us now over here closing the gap, really trying to take the fight to him. We're still trying to do it fundamentally. You see the jab just being pumped out at all times possible before we go for any big shots. The main thing that I need to start doing here in order to catch this knockdown is I need to throw some power shots downstairs to the body. It was at the stamina. When the stamina's gone, we hit him in the head, he'll instantly drop. So I think this was a really smart technique here, not to get overzealous, wait for him to make his own mistakes. You don't really want to step much neither, because stepping also does take from your stamina, and it's really going to do a lot of damage to you, especially when you're low. So you see we got up here against the ropes. He's trying to throw back. We double up that jab, hit a quick power shot that did more than enough damage that we need. And bingo, another knockdown occurs. It was the third chin check of the fight. That right uppercut has just been landing with tremendous force. It was the power shot that really set things up. Not so much downstairs to the body. His stamina was so low that we can go to the head with it and we will still be successful. And that's exactly what ended up happening. He knew he had nothing left in this fight. So he just lays down, takes the count, and we end up winning our first OWC fight by way of knockout. Now you heard me talk about we're going to take a look at the stats. I'll show you this after every fight. There's the punch stats. That's the accuracy right there. 382 jabs, man, to set up all our other punches. And that's definitely the way you want to fight, is having that jab set up everything else. As you can see, he only threw 10 uppercuts, 4 right uppercuts, basically a combination of 3 hooks, and then 55 power shots. And he had 42 counter opportunities, but he was only able to land 16. We only have 13. We wasn't creating counters that much that fight. That's something I definitely need to improve on. Is, when my counter shots do come through, they are quite effective, but I felt there was no need to really counter punch as much as, it probably would have ended the fight early, but I wasn't really looking for counter punches. So that's the experience that you see right there. This is what I was talking about with the points earned for the gym. That's 41 points, which is a huge margin. boxer points earned, we got 47, and then we was awarded 287 XP, which will allow us to put some nice stuff into our fighters rankings. So the one thing I do want to change is from the textbook block to Philly shell, just so I can sit behind my defense a lot more and be comfortable knowing that I'm going to come across some cheesy stuff. So we're going to go ahead and put our opponent to our chin. I want to thank everybody for watching this video. If you found it helpful, please leave a like and also a comment. It's been your boy, FightNightsFinest, the Sofa Commentator, and I'm off this. Peace!